Herkese merhaba arkadaşlar, ben Gökhan Yılmaz ve şu anda yanımda Deus Ex'in baş yapımcısı bulunmakta. Daha çok bridge modu üzerine odaklanmış bir yapımcısı. Şimdi kendisine sorularımı yönelteceğim ve Deus Ex Mankind Divided hakkında detaylı bilgiler almaya çalışacağız. Hello, how are you?
Hello, great, thank you.
First of all, can you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, so my name is Fleur Marty and I am the producer for the Deus Ex Live team.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about how the Mankind Divided was developed? Was it from the ground up, or did you build off the original series?
So the idea was really to build upon what we established first with Human Revolution, and it was, when you make a game, in the end there is always areas where you feel if we just had a bit more time, we could have done it differently, better. You just even before the game is released, you have your list of okay, if I can make a next one, I'm gonna do that, and also Mankind Divided is set 2 years after Human Revolution, and it's the return of Adam Jensen, so he felt natural to continue building on what we set for Human Revolution.
Also in Prague.
Yes, so yeah, that's one of the things that changes. It's we're in Europe, we're in Prague, but it's a Deus Ex game, so we're not just in Prague. We're going all over the world.
Adam Jensen returns in Mankind Divided. What is the story behind that?
Well, so after the events at the end of Human Revolution, Adam has changed a lot. I mean, it was.
In the bad way or the good way?
Well, it's for you to decide, but personally, I think.
Yeah, we are the Adam Jensen.
Yeah, I think personally it's in a good way. In Human Revolution, Adam was all about, I never asked for this, and he was kind of a bit of the errand boy of Serif. Everybody was always telling him what to do, and in Mankind Divided, it's very different. He's the one taking action. He wants to go to the truth. He wants to know who is manipulating things in the shadows, and so he's completely at peace with who he is. He is this augmented super guy, and it's all right. It's gonna help him to actually, discover the truth and find the bad guys.
Can you tell me about new features to the gameplay you were really focusing on bringing into the game?
So on the gameplay side, one of the things we felt about Human Revolution, it's that maybe the combat aspect of the game was not as satisfying as the stealth one. And since Deus Ex is all about giving freedom of play to the players, it felt to us that we needed to bring the combat at the same level as the stealth. So we've worked really hard on that, and it shows in a lot of different ways. So for instance, we worked a lot on the cover system to make it much more dynamic. In Human Revolution, the cover system was only left and right. You can now go forward, backward. You know exactly where you're gonna go. It shows also in the controls. We completely reworked the control scheme to make everything more dynamic. And since also you have new augmentations, they are much more active. Human Revolution augmentations, a lot of them were passive. They were automatic, like you were stronger or you had more health or energy. With Mankind Divided, Adam has a new arsenal. He has that arm where he has guns, his nanoblade that he can now shoot. He also has what we call the Icarus dash, where he kind of teleports on short distances. And to support that, we completely revisited the control scheme. So you can be firing with your weapon at the same time using augmentations. It's very visceral. But of course, we're not saying, oh, it's now complete. It's a combat game. It's just to give as much satisfaction to players who want to play stealthy and to players who want to play the combat way.
One of the few sticking points I had with Human Revolution was that when you got to major boss fights, you were put into a combat situation where if you were focusing on stealth build, many of your augments didn't have much use. What about Mankind Divided?
Yeah, so again, that's
the most popular question.
yeah, it's obvious, and it happened like that in Human Revolution, and it's one of those things. It was too late to change. Anyway, yes, we worked on it, but actually we worked on it way before Mankind Divided, because the boss fights were already fixed in the director's cut edition of Human Revolution, and also in the DLC, the Missing Link. So we already knew how to address those things. So yes, I promise, in Mankind Divided, whatever you play style, you will be able to handle boss, but also, it's you won't even have to kill them if you don't want to, because that's our promise. You can play the whole game without killing anybody if you wish to, and bosses are people too. So why should you have to kill?
We can forgive them.
Yeah, or even maybe you're gonna play in a way that will make you completely able to avoid any encounter with the boss. It's also a possibility of the game.
Is it possible to play through the entire game and have all of your augmentations completely upgraded?
So it shouldn't be really possible on the first playthrough, although if you do some side quests and if you really explore stuff, you might find a way for this to happen. But anyway, it's alright, because we have a new game plus. That's one of the new things that we have for Mankind Divided, and so you can, once you've done a playthrough, you can now then be fully augmented and go in there, and we're also coupling that with a new difficulty. So once you've completed the game once, you have access to
You can push harder.
Yeah, and you have access to the I never asked for this difficulty, and then you have only one life. And if you're dead...
Permadeath.
Yes, permadeath.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and also what's cool with actually the mode, the breach mode that we're having with Mankind Divided, it's that if you've played through the whole campaign and there are augmentations you didn't get to experience or something like that, well, you can try them in breach, and it's very small level, so it's going to take you 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you can go in there and do some experimental gameplay and maybe experiment other ways to play the game, and then you can go back to the main game and say, oh, I'm going to try and play it like that.
Is there any more details in breach mode?
Is there more details in breach mode about the story? Okay, so in Breach you're not Adam Jensen, you're playing a hacker, what we call a Reaper, so it's basically the hackers in 2029, they have invented a way to hack without having to code, and they are gaming their way through servers. So basically that's what we're doing, you're gaming against the AI that protects the data. And you're going in there to steal the secrets from the big corporations that are in Adam's world, and you're trying to learn about their conspiracies and what they're doing in the shadows, and you're also stealing their data just to sell it to whoever wants it. And so the idea is really like it's short maps, and you have two kind of objectives. You have leaderboards, and you can either go for trying to have the best score or try to have the best time. And of course, it's not the same play style. If you want to do a lot of points, if you want to get all the data that's in the level, if you want to do a lot of actions, it's going to take you time. But if you want to really speed run it and do a map in a few seconds, then you're going to have to be super creative about the odds that you combine and find the best way in the map and just run like hell.
Sounds cool. Okay. I have given a 9.5 to Deus Ex Human Revolution back in 1911, and I am really looking forward to try Mankind Divided and see everything in that world. And that's all. Thank you for these informations.
Thank you.
Evet arkadaşlar, Deus Ex bildiğiniz üzere zaten hemen Gamescom'dan sonra çıkışını yapacak ve bizler de en kısa zamanda detaylı bir şekilde inceleyip sizlere nasıl bir oyun olduğunu aktarmaya çalışacağız. Benden şimdilik bu kadar diyorum arkadaşlar. Bir başka videoda görüşmek üzere. Hepinize iyi oyunlar.
Just forget the wins, it's the best to use. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Available 23rd of August.